What's up, Internet? Welcome back to the Roottrees Are Dead, and I have questions. The last episodes, from the first one up to the last one, I had recorded in one stretch of time. I did it within one day, basically back to back. So I have now taken a little bit of time, and it has been a second, but in the process I have edited and skimmed through the footage, and I have a couple questions of things that I've been thinking about since last playing the game. And the first one is right away, because I noticed something. Because the game asked us to look for inconsistencies, right? And so I have been thinking about that, and there's something right off the bat that's a little strange. And that's this. The plane crashed last night near Pittsburgh. The only passengers were Carl Roottree and his three daughters, known as the Roottrees sisters. All passengers and crew perished, right? So, okay. Daughters, Carl Roottree, totally. But what happened to the wife? Because the opening cutscene, it doesn't say it here. The opening cutscene, I think, said that the wife died too. But that's not what the newspaper said. Most articles mention Carl Roottree, who is the president of Roottree Candy Company. His daughters are also eulogized. Yeah, look. Carl Roottree died in the recent plane crash along with his wife, Brenda Roottree, and their daughters, the Roottrees sisters. I'm making an inconsistency page. Some things in this game have said that only Carl and the daughters died. Other things say that the wife died with them. There's a chance the wife didn't die, and that might be the person who's hiring us. That's a huge piece of the puzzle if that's the case, because, and you just have to think about the ramifications of this. So, if the wife didn't die, if Brenda didn't die in that plane crash, who is then the rightful owner of any of this? Carl, her husband, is the fifth president of the company. It doesn't look like many of the other people are really interested. We don't know everybody yet, but it doesn't seem like a lot of them are very interested in actually running the company. They're just interested in the money from it. Brenda is the co-owner of the fashion brand, the Root brand. It would be very easy for her to take over as president and then also unseat things going on here. We also have that legal battle. There are definitely things. A couple other notes that I had. RR could have been Raina Roottree or Riley Roottree, right? The case against the family. Now, it would be a little weird considering that they would probably have been kids, and also I don't know if we had a date on that. Where would that have been? Yeah, there's no year on it. Which is interesting. So that could have been 2 years ago, right? And that doesn't matter. That was just something I had thought about, the first episode were these three people, and it was like, oh wait, that's an RR too. But as we saw, there are other RR names. And then I had a thought about, do these flavors relate to the current gen the way that the old flavors did with the original 5 pieces, right? So does somehow the initials of these people also these. I have these written down. So maybe, I don't know if they adapted them, because there aren't just 5 anymore, right? Obviously, as the family grows, there's more to work with. And then I wanted to, this is all stuff from the first episode. Like, this is, I had edited the first episode at this point. And I wanted to look up, I don't have the name of the author, but the genealogy for dummies. I don't think that's how you spell it. How do you spell it? Genealogy, right? So I just add an A here. Nope. Okay. I just figured I would throw that in there just because I didn't check it. Okay. So I think that's most of my notes for now. Obviously, just other than things that I just should actively still be looking through, because there's a lot to do. So I also want to go back through some of our pieces of evidence, because I think we need a little bit of a refresh. It's gonna get harder. The game intentionally is going to get much, much harder. And we should also be paying attention to this. And this is on my to-do list, obviously, this campaign mailer, because that has so much evidence that apparently we have not unpacked yet. But yeah, so let's go through everything that we have not locked in. Well, first of all, Candy Company was founded by Elias and Gwyneth. Gwyneth has sisters, Elias has brothers. They're technically not blood relatives of these two. There's a chance that Elias and Patricia, well, we know Elias and Patricia had a daughter named Samantha. There's a weird thread about Sam's potentially being Clancy Edwards' daughter, and this might be a cover. I could see that. But that's a weird side note thing. Gwendolyn Roottree is the first. She married a man named James Morden. They had two kids, Angelica and Zach. Zach becomes the second president. Angelica, I believe, has twins. Zach has 2 kids. We don't know anything about the newest generation. Samantha Roottree, we don't know about her family after that. They become full-on Roottrees after her. I have a feeling that, where is it? This girl with green eyes and black hair might be Sam's relative. Well, they're all relatives, but that one especially. This is the most figured out of the families, Clancy Edward Roottrees. We don't know who his spouse is yet, but Lauren and her 3 younger brothers. So we'll have to figure out who's who, and I think I actually have an idea about that. I'll get to that in a second. This part of the family is pretty figured out, even this, which was kind of a guess, but it was Lulu, and there's only one Lou in the names. Don't know anything about this last little piece here. 4th child, Margolite, don't know what she looks like, but she had a daughter who's the actor. She had a messy breakup. Don't really know about the 2 kids. I assumed that they're... Where are they? These 2 kids, potentially, because it's a picture of the mom with the 2 of them. That was my guess. And I think that's a picture of her, too, actually. Now I should put that in. One of them got married, has 2 kids we don't really know much about. Last family is the preacher family, Miracle Roottree, the young runt of the family, married someone, created Miracle Jr., famous preacher. Also, brother is Elias, don't know much about him. Miracle Jr. has another Miracle, also a preacher, marries Nicole. That's what we got, and I feel like this is pretty good. We're in a good spot. Now, there's a couple things I want to look back at before we move forward. I want to really just do a quick skim of this again. By skimming the pages of the diary, you glean the following information. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth. Her mother's family was called the Cosels. Oh, wait, okay. Her mother's family. Yeah, okay, great. Sarah Cosell. That should work, right? Because that would be her mother. Great. Her father, who she always refers to as Pop, was the head lawyer for the Roottrees Candy Company and helps write a legal document called the Clancy Trust. 5 pieces, next generation, free spirits. Lauren's father was in this generation. Yeah. Okay, now. This is what she talked about. Gwen, Aunt Margot. Hope she would be the sister I never had, right? So she has... Right, so she has 3 younger brothers. She's the first Roottrees woman to be anything other than a housewife. So that means any other of the other Roottrees women should be classified as housewife. Especially the 5 pieces, right? So at least those 2, if not more. Well, no, actually, it would be the 5 pieces, Angelica, and then her, because that's the order. It's the 5 of them, Angelica, then Lauren, and then after her would be Gwen. That's the order of kids. Or at least order of girls. Here's my other thought. There's this pattern of the firstborn kid being named junior of the father. She has a brother named Clancy. Lauren has a brother named Clancy, and her dad is Clancy Edward. Clancy wouldn't be here. Clancy would be here. If he's the firstborn son, Clancy Jr. Roottrees should be here. Now, he also is given Clancy to Carl. Clancy has, there's something about him being a lecturer, right? Shit. Where? I'm gonna have to go through some... Father, grandpa, yada yada. Yeah, I think he said something like that he had a lecture on the Middle Ages. So he might be an academic of some sort or a teacher. What would give a lecture? Is there just a teacher? No teacher. Travel agent, student, secretary, public speaker, professor. I could see professor. I don't have anything to specifically lock that in yet, but I feel very confident about putting that in, but I don't feel confident about putting professor in, though that might be enough. Politics, yeah, it could be a couple things, I guess. News anchor, but he's giving a lecture. That's a professor. All right, well, we'll get to there. But yeah, so those are things to note. Let's go back to here. So this feels like it probably doesn't have too much else. That page. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. None of his sons would take over. Architects, preachers, and lawyers. So we don't have an architect in the family yet, or at least we haven't placed an architect. Prop argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family since we still have the Roottrees name. So, right, so this family kept Roottrees. Miracle did also, but they are preachers. She's not a son. They didn't know Sam existed yet. And Morden dropped the Roottrees. So, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not sure Clancy would have even wanted it, but he's the one who was volunteered. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. Even though his surname doesn't match the candy, he's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach, but I'm the next oldest of us all, but he just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used, her dad used when when he told Ma it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back, maybe they wanted it to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the product. So, right, we said that. I didn't fully take to heart what that meant. I think that means that the person that Zach is heavyset, and we've seen someone in the photos that looks like that. That's probably Zach then. And that would make sense. So that means... Oh, okay. So she said here that she wanted to rearrange it like the original 5 pieces photo, but instead the 4 Roottrees, Lauren and her siblings stood in the middle. So they stood together. So I believe that's these 4. This is Sam. That's Miracle and his son, Miracle Jr. So that means that this is Angelica and that's Zach. I feel pretty good about that, actually. So you're Angelica. Oh, yes! And we haven't locked in Lauren's siblings, but farmer, advertising, housewife. Oh, okay, so that was right. Lulu was correct. That picture was right. Okay, cool. We might start locking in a few of them here now. So Zachariah Morton, second president. Cool. I feel really good about that, actually. So he's like a little bit of like a ginger-haired person, which means that their dad probably, because their dad probably was a ginger-haired man. Which I don't know if we'll ever see because there's no picture of him. Interesting. Okay, cool. That's good stuff. Let us go back to the diary, because obviously we're getting things now. So we got that. That was what helped us get Zach. Sam. Granny had sisters and granddad had a brother or two. Trim their branches from the family tree. Meetings in his Zach office. Gwen's in Paris, including Miracle's boys. I asked who Sam was. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farmhands EC and John. See, now this is a weird thing, right? There's an EC on the farmhands? Or like on the farm? Because we've seen that pop up before. Also, well, we'll get to the second part of the diary, but that's a huge thing. Who is EC? And why is it only EC? Because also, I had a thing about EC in the candy, didn't I? CE does not equal EC. I forget why I put that. Because that's the... Yeah... Right, because it was like cinnamon extract and then egg cream, right? That was the candy. Clark is getting married. This is kind of just to get her family tree. My brothers all seem to pursue paths of knowledge. Oh, right. Okay, paths of knowledge. So one of them could be a professor. And the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. So Edward is Edward one of the ones we filled in? No. Oh, so they have a Clancy Jr., but then they also have an Edward. Edward Roottree. And then he's going to take over his department, so that means he's a lawyer. Right? Is that... I'm assuming that's where we're getting with that? Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. And she's talking about her brothers. Otherwise, I'd say like that might be a leap. But also, again, the Roottrees stayed within her immediate family. They didn't... There's no Edward Roottree elsewhere. And then Zach's not a bad president. His sister seems to be doing a great job raising her twins. So they're twins. Gwen is Gwen. Great. Okay, yeah. That's extremely helpful. And then the sequel. Elias Roottrees had died. Sam Roottrees had a stipulation that she retained the rights to run the farm. None of the 5 pieces were surprised. Sam was the illegitimate daughter. Elias hid her away with a local farmhand known as EC. So he's a farmer. Right, as we know it, it's Gwendolyn, Elias Jr., Clancy Edward, Pa, Margolite, and Miracle. And then... Oh, no. Oh, no. I got it. I know it. I know what the secret is. Wow. Okay. So here's what happened. This is, I don't know if we were able to, if they expected us to get this ad this early. Because I got this in like episode 2. Because I went with books and then I went to this one and... Okay, so this ad says, same thing. Gwendolyn, Elias Jr., EC, Clancy Edward, cinnamon extract. They dropped egg cream at some point. EC, egg cream, they dropped that 2 years later or whatever. 4 years later. 4 years later, it's not on the thing. They have Miracle. It's a Miracle, 5 pieces. Oh, this is going to get ruthless. Because in order to keep the 5 pieces name, he's so about family that they wanted to keep the image up. I think they had twins. Here's my running theory. Here's what I'm going to run with. And there's a couple things that provide evidence for this. They had these 4 to start. Plus, Clancy Edward has a twin. His twin is probably Edward Clancy or something like that. Or Elias Clancy. It's some olden bullshit thing. They have the 4 kids plus the twin. 5 pieces recognize that. I mean, they're all of age enough to know that at least they have a second brother. Miracle is then born out of nowhere, and something happens that completely banishes EC out of the quote-unquote public family. God knows what that is, but he does. But Elias recognizes it because he is still a blood relative. Because obviously EC would be his son. EC gives birth to Samantha Roottrees. For one reason or another, Elias Jr. takes on that responsibility later as the father. Or like claims himself as the father. Patricia is the mother, but gets with the other brother? I don't know what the fuck. But EC stays as the dad, as a farmhand on the Roottrees farm, and trains and works with Samantha. And that lends credence to the anger thing at the back of this diary, where I got angry when I met a new girl who I don't like. She was dirty, she was a farmer, and did not have a pretty dress. Me and Pop walked home, so Clancy Edward and Lauren walked home in town, and she hugged him. When I told her he was my Pop, she pushed me. I got angry and yelled at her, and Pop said to treat her nice. Then she said, Pop is my dad. She screamed in my ear. She was lying to me, and lying is not a nice thing, so I pushed her away. Then I got in trouble. Then Pop took her away. He told me, don't worry, I'm glad she's gone. So neither of them are right, but also neither of them are wrong. She's technically correct because she thinks that Lauren's dad, Clancy Edward, is her dad, but they're twins. So she thinks that this looks like her dad, therefore they're twins. But she's also correct that that's not her dad. Oh, boy. Okay, so that means every instance that we hear of EC, that's not just a farmhand. Whoa, 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 whoa. So if you're reading my diary and confused, you're not alone. Even the government had problems. I remember once receiving certified mail for Edward Clancy Rootree. I had to break the news that they got my father's name backwards. You backwoods motherfuckers. They literally did name him Edward Clancy Rootree. We're putting it in the inconsistency thing. We know the theory now. So there's two major inconsistencies. It's that that Brenda Rootree might not have died in the plane crash, and we have an Edward Clancy Rootree that clearly is there. I think I've cracked this early. I think I've done a lot of work now. Oh, I'm raring to go now. Okay. Yeah, I feel pretty confident that's what this is. So they're asking us to manually type. It has two names that must be typed in manually. See, one of them is going to be Edward Clancy Rootree. I don't know about the other one, because that's clearly not here. And he's not going to be in any of the photos because he was seen as a farmhand and not as a member of the family. I think it's also probably safe to say that is Clancy and that is Edward, because they're just older. Like, she's the oldest, then him, then him, then him, right? I mean, that's just by height, but one of them looks like a boy. I should have put this picture in also. Oh, I said that I didn't want to... I guess I could do it because he doesn't have another picture of him. So that would be Miracle Jr. in the photo. And then Carl wouldn't be in... Well, Carl's going to be in one of these photos. Potentially. Okay. Just want to... I got to recenter a little bit. We're actually nearing the end of an episode, but I am still floored. I think we still... Let's go back through some other stuff before we... Next episode maybe move on. So I think we've identified basically everybody in this photo then, which is great. That's like such a great place to be. Let's go to this... Well, so this photo... I feel pretty good about also. I should probably just make this Gwendolyn and I should make this Margolite. But again, I don't want to guess. I don't really want to guess. I don't think that's fair. Because this actually looks like the hairstyle that Angelica has. And she's pretty enough that could be... Despite the black hair, I mean, the hair color doesn't really matter. She poses in front of the camera with Mr. Morden. And then there's this dude in the back. Oh, fuck. Is that dude Clancy Edward? Or Edward Clancy? Hold on. Is there a way to do this? Okay, yes, but let me just do this. Yeah, they could be twins. Look at the facial structure. He's in the background working with the farm. I think that's enough. I think they just let him grow out his facial hair. I think we found our Edward Clancy. I think we found EC. Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, cool. And then unsure about some of the new generation people, which we'll get to, I think, in the next episode. And then let's go back to here as kind of a lead up. So this has the most intuition out of any one of our evidence so far. Flyer about Stephanie Jones. Stephanie might have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was still full of love. And now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own, love is the future. Carl, I don't know, we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you'd still talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity. So we're going to want to do Stephanie Jones and whoever CM is for a lot of stuff right now. So for sure, we want to go to the periodicals. No, really? Stephanie Jones, what am I doing? Oh, wait, I put Miller in by... Where did I get Mr. Miller from? Pop warned us to stay away from that farm for years. I never met EC in person, but Pop once referred to him as a confirmed bachelor, and I suspect that's why he kept us from there. Sam had to grow up in a house with him and his roommate, Mr. Miller. She has no problems with us next gens, but she has a palpable hatred with the 5 pieces because they hid the answer. Yeah. I never met EC in person, but Pop once referred to him as a confirmed bachelor, which is funny because clearly it seems like he had Sam as a child. And I suspect that's why he kept us from there. Sam had to grow up in a house with him and his roommate, Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller might be this dude. Actually, no, he's pretty... CM. Don't let our conflicts spread to the next generation. So if we're talking about our conflicts as in from Carl's generation, yeah, that might be a little too young. Whoever Miller might be too young. That doesn't match. Okay, I'm not going to even read this yet. I'm going to cut this off now. We've made a lot of really great discoveries in this episode, as well as locking in 3 more people. I'm going to pick it up on the next one, and we are going to hit it right from here. From the election, here it comes. See ya on the next one.